And with this particular face, we're having a gander at a JPEG of a photo of the moon that was created with the Artemis project of 2022. And there are various sources to get this particular panorama. And when you first look at this particular scenario, you'll notice there are some very interesting structures, concave and convex structures, very indicative of being planned architecture. And some of the objects inside one of the craters makes you just get a bit flabbergasted, and also to construct your thoughts as to what in fact it could be and for the various purposes it might be there for in the first place. And we'll get to that right away. And please enjoy this scenario that was produced on behalf of the Artemis Moon Project. And let's get right to it. You can still determine there's a crater, and there are some very interesting designs, architectural designs here. Going in even a bit further, you must admit, bearing there's a shadow in this area here, there does appear to be something located in this crater. And we're going to go over this with the dodge instrument, is to bring out some areas that might have been confiscated somewhat. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, what can that be? Is it an astronaut? Is it some type of space vehicle? Is it mining equipment? And on the outside, you can see there are some very interesting designs as well around this area here. And using some highlighting, we come up with this type of scenario. Interesting designs here, here, this astronaut-like looking type of design, and outside of that, perhaps some type of transportation craft. Interesting shapes here, over here, and throughout this area. And it does appear to be some type of spatial area where the shadow is here, i.e. a groove of some sort. very nice place to place a craft and some type of, perhaps a robotic astronaut or whatnot, a machine type of apparatus. And note the particular designs around here. It seems to be circular at the top, cylindrical, and very interesting to have a gander at, that's for sure. And with the dodge tool per se, you can see that some of the areas
have been lightened up somewhat, and you can determine there are some designs definitely around this area here. And just look at this circular helmet shape type of design. Straight lines, structures on the outside, and this crater, and all of these designs on the outside of it as well. You can see there is some more detail when you use the dodge trim tool as well to bring out some shadows and highlights. Note the very creative architectural marvels on the outside here. This is the shadow, and over here as well. Are we looking at equipment of some sort? It would be very convenient if this is some type of space vehicle with perhaps some type of robotic figure in the center of it, or whatnot. And just going over this with some highlights, you can notice there is some more detail here. The shadow areas here with lots of relative space. Interesting designs in this area here. Machine-like parts in this area here. Here as well. And if we flip this around, perhaps you can notice that there definitely are some types of structures contained in this panorama. And rotating it a bit more, there's definitely linear patterns here and circular type of glass or some type of plastic object connected to this longitudinal part or whatnot, and machine-like structures all over the place. And it fits very nicely into this crater-like cavity. And with this particular scenario, the same technique is being used, and of course brightens up the panorama somewhat. And you can definitely determine that there are some very planned creations on the side here. Very interesting designs. You can see there's somewhat more shade, contrast areas, brightness areas, and definitely some type of machine-like area. Areas of parts. And here's our interesting spacecraft-like object in the center. The detail is quite astonishing. And at the top here, notice the designs here. Are we looking at some type of base, some type of space-faring station for mining purposes or research, traveling purposes, or whatnot? You must admit it is quite the intrigue to decide what exactly this could be, but it is there. And with some more highlights, perhaps you can notice the detail somewhat more. And here are those designs at the top, linear patterns, some curved patterns here, our space figure friend in the center, the cavity with the shadow in this vicinity, very interesting machine-like parts, interesting curves. Now, is this made by nature? Or is it, in fact, notice the detail on this structure in the background. Definitely at the top of some type of cavity, crater-like cavity, concave up, or what? Now, of course, you must decide for yourself if this is, in fact, planned design. Are we looking at mining equipment? Or is this some type of base of some sort for research or whatnot? Of course, you're welcome to come up with your own thoughts as usual, and I hope you found this interesting, and on behalf of Effective Evolution, please enjoy your exploration further, and thank you for your time on behalf of the Artemis project as well. Until next time, all the best now from effective evolution.
And after having a gander at the various views and techniques incorporated or whatnot, you must admit this is a very interesting area of the moon. And what in fact would that object be? Would that be some type of astronaut, maybe a robotic astronaut? And the structures around and inside the cavity as well, the crater cavity is very interesting. It leads you to some very interesting conjectures regarding the type of activity that would be involved with this particular type of quote research project, if it is a research project. And you must admit the architecture and the situation of the photo, you know, I mean, it could be for some type of particular purpose or whatnot. And please come up with your own thoughts, and all the best in your future exploration. Thank you for your time once again on Effective Evolution.